Hey Scrap Bosses, I'm back with another project using the Craft with Heart kits by Close to My Heart. If you're not familiar with these kits, I did a full video unboxing here on the Victoria Marie YouTube channel, so make sure you look for that. These kits are pre-designed kits and they were created for new scrapbookers or scrapbookers who are not as confident in their scrapbooking skills. All of the papers and things that you see in these kits are pre-designed. They include all the elements that you need to make beautiful layouts. Now you can make a two-page layout or a single-page layout, and for this video I'm going to make a two-page layout using these two photos. I am going to vary the sketch just a little bit as I just showed you. Those were some examples of some layouts. When you get the kit, you get this instruction sheet that also has measurements. And then of course you also get all the elements that you need in order to put your kit together. So I'm going to show you real quickly what's in the kit. And then I'm going to show you some things that I got that are extra that you can coordinate with your kit. They don't actually come in the kit, but there's other things that you can purchase as well to go with your kits. So the kit comes with your photo templates. It comes with stickers and die cuts. Here's some of the pull apart die cuts you can just pull right off that sheet. It also has some pre-designed papers, which are really fun. Now you can use everything in your kit or you can pair it with things in your stash. Now the reason why I love these kits so much is because I know there are a lot of you out there who want to streamline your scrapbooking. You want an easy way to make beautiful layouts and you don't want to think too hard about the design. So if that's something that interests you, then this is a kit for you. You might want to check it out. Now, in addition to this kit, they sent me some extras. These are called complements. Now, these complements, as the title suggests, do complement some of the kits that they have. So you can pick up these sets, like this is a set of stickers as well as die cuts. And then I also grabbed some of these cork pieces as well that I'm going to incorporate in the overall design. So the first thing I want to do is get the background ready to go. And there's not a whole lot I have to do because these papers are already pre-printed. And of course you can use one or both of the papers depending on the style of scrapbook page that you want to do. Now if you are an 8.5 by 11 scrapper, then you would just simply trim those papers down based on the size of the scrapbook page that you want to create. So in following the instructions, I love these instructions because you don't have to think about it. It gives you the measurements as well as some photo examples. If you do not have the exact size photos that they're showing in the picture, that's okay. You can substitute for what you already have. And of course you can change up the design to fit the needs, to fit your needs. And that's what I'm going to do in this particular example. I'm going to follow the example pretty closely, but I'm going to switch some things up just a tiny bit to accommodate my photos. It also gives you some written instructions as well, very simple and easy to follow. So I'm looking at the front page for this layout. If I flip over the page, it'll have the second layout. You get two kits in one package, which is really nice. It's a great value. All right, so I have this first 4x6 photo in the vertical, and I laid down that yellow layering piece, that scallop piece. Now, in the example, it called for, on the left-hand side, I think it was 3 photos. One I think was on the vertical, and then there was a smaller photo that looked to be about a 3x4 photo. Well, I have 2 4x6 photos that are on the horizontal orientation and one that's on the vertical orientation. So what I'm doing is I'm taking these photo templates that are included, and it gives you the measurements on the photo templates, and that way you can lay out where you want your photos on your layout, which makes designing very easy. So I'm going to go ahead and address the second page. And I'm looking at the example again. So there's that yellow scallop. I'm going to go ahead and turn it the other direction as it's on the directions. Now I could have left it the way that it was. Again, these are your layouts, so you can design it however you want to. But I also didn't want to have to think too hard either. So if someone gives me a set of directions, I'm more than likely going to follow them at least almost exactly with some variation. You can do whatever you want to. It's your layout. I'm going to go ahead and adhere to my first photo, and that is a photo of my little girl. In fact, I'm scrapbooking photos from Thanksgiving of 2017. And she is holding a small sweet potato tart that my mom makes every year. I'm going to add some foam adhesive to the back of that just to give it a little bit of dimension. This fun foam is very thin, so it won't be too bulky on the page. The stickers and the die cuts are really good quality. They're very thick. The papers, on the other hand, are not super thin, but they're not super thick cardstock either. So if that's something that bothers you, I know some people in the last videos that I posted had mentioned that they didn't like the paper, that they thought it was too thin. You can always reinforce that by attaching it to a stock piece of cardstock to make that paper a little bit more sturdy. I think the papers are fine personally, but again, it's personal preference. Now I'm going to go ahead and address the second page. I'm going to go ahead and lay down that scalloped yellow piece, again backing that with some fun foam to give that a little bit of presence on the layout. And then I'm going to go ahead and adhere that. I like that the pages, the background pages, are already pre-printed. Anytime that I can work smart, not harder, then I'm all for it. I always joke and say that I'm a lazy scrapbooker. I like my pages to come together pretty quickly. So when some of the elements are done for me, sometimes that just works, particularly if I'm short on time or I just don't have a lot of creative energy. I thought I was going to put that yellow piece horizontally, but I went back and put it vertically. And then a part of the layout calls for this card here, this journaling card. And I think on the example, the journaling card was supposed to go towards the far right of that second page. I decided to go ahead and layer that on that yellow scallop piece because that's where I'm going to put my journaling. And then I went ahead and put my photos to the right-hand side of that. Now I'm going to go ahead and get the title down. Now in the example, the title is much further up, but I didn't like that positioning. So I brought it down next to that banner that I put on there at the beginning of the process video. Now I'm looking at my complements. I'm trying to decide what elements that I want to go ahead and put on the page. So I'm going to follow the example a little bit closely, but I'm going to vary it just a little bit to meet my design needs. Now I like to layer, so I'm glad that I have the complements because in the kit you only get so many pieces to embellish with. Of course, you can pull things from your stash if you want to, but the complements allow me to do a little bit more layering, which is kind of my natural scrapbooking style. So I'm going to go ahead and put down these butterflies, but I want them to stand up and look like they're sort of flying across the page. So I'm adding some dimensional foam to that. I'm going to pop up each one of those butterflies. The colors are beautiful and they complement very well with the navy blue and the green. It's just really, really pretty elements. And they're fantastic quality. Of course, all of the close to my heart products are just wonderful products. So I have butterflies of different shapes and sizes that are sort of cascading in a diagonal fashion. Now I'm looking for some other elements. Now these stickers and die cuts, there's a set of pull apart die cuts as well as these really heavy cardstock stickers. They're fantastic. I immediately see that cute owl and I love owls. So I'm going to go ahead and start a layering cluster using that owl as my anchor. So I'm going to add some foam adhesive to the little owl. He also has some flowers, like a little branch that he's sitting on, which is very precious. Then I'm going to add a floral cluster to the other photo on the first page. Add a little bit of foam adhesive to that to add a bit of dimension. I'm going to peel that off and get that stuck down. There's some beautiful floral elements in here that I really like. And I use quite a bit of them on this layout and then the next layout that I'll do. You'll see that in another video. So I have this sweet little pumpkin. Again, perfect for the theme of this particular layout. I'm going to go ahead and layer that right behind that owl. And then I have a taller pumpkin that I'm going to grab here off of one of the sticker sheets. And I'm going to layer that one right behind the floral piece that's on the left-hand side of the photo on the first page. All of those elements layer very perfectly together. All right, so now I have these little pull-aparts here. So I'm just going to pull out this leaf. That is a two-tone with the orange as well as the wood background. I'm going to get those tucked in, one behind my owl and then the other one by that floral cluster, just adding yet another element there. Love it. Those are really, really super thick and they're kind of hard to pull out, but they're really great quality. I'm going to add a flower to the owl cluster. I'm going to pull that off. And then to that little flower, I'm going to add a small piece of foam adhesive so that can kind of stand up just a tiny bit, again, adding some dimension. Now notice I'm not using a ton of product. I'm basically using die cuts and stickers, but I'm giving them some presence by popping them up with foam. It can be really that simple to create a really great scrapbook layout. Now I want to add a bit of direction to this layout, so I grabbed some more of the die cuts. Now these are a gold foiled die cut. I added one arrow to the left-hand side of that two-page layout, and then I added another arrow to the right-hand side of the two-page layout. Next up is this gold foiled butterfly, and I'm going to add that to the journaling card, and that is where eventually I'm going to put some lines so that I can put the journaling there. I popped him up on some foam as well. Next up, I have this really pretty die cut flower. Again, I'm struggling to get them off. Those are on there good. They're not going to fall off. In fact, if you decide not to use one, you can just put it right back on that sheet and it'll stay. So I'm going to shop this flower around just a little bit so I can decide where I want it. And that too has some gold foil right in the middle. I'm going to add a foam adhesive dot to that and get that stuck down on my floral cluster. And so far, this is looking really great. So I actually have a lot of these elements still left, and I can certainly use it on the next page that I'll do, and you'll see that page in a different process video. Now to add some more texture, I'm going to take these cork pieces, these little cork tiny leaves, and I'm just going to tuck those in into the clusters, and that just adds a little bit more dimension. I did that to the owl cluster as well. So here is the example page, not too far from that, and here is my completed page. So the only thing that I have left to do is to add my journaling. So I'm going to take my ruler and just a black journaling pen and draw on some lines. Now I could have typed directly on this using my typecast typewriter. I could have ran it through my printer, but I like handwriting or writing on my layout. So that's what I chose to do. And I just talked about how it's nice to come together with family. We don't get together often, and the holidays are a fantastic time for us to fellowship and have a good meal. Now from my stash, I pulled out these little tiny font stickers, and I needed to put the date on there. So I decided to put it on that right-hand photo towards the bottom. So here is the completed layout. As you can see, it didn't really take me that long to get this together. I think after editing this video, or before editing this video, was about 30 minutes that it took me to put this layout together. So the background's already pre-printed. I already had everything that I needed. The only extra thing I added was those letters and number sticker fonts from my stash, but everything else came with the kit. And of course I used the complements that you can purchase along with your kits or any other products that you purchase from Close to My Heart. To see some still shots of this layout, make sure you head on over to the Victoria Marie blog. When you're there, be sure to subscribe. And if you haven't already subscribed to the Victoria Marie YouTube channel, make sure you do that too. Click that bell indicator when you subscribe. That way you'll know every time I post a new video here to this channel. For more information about Close to My Heart, the links are posted down below. Thanks for stopping by.